What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Final Fantasy. We are finally ready to get going to Stonehyrr. Has been a couple days since I recorded, so I'm gonna take a quick warm-up run on these chocobos. Clear the field a little while we chit-chat. Nothing really changed on the build since last episode, so it's nothing much to catch up on. Although, in terms of real-life situations, there is some stuff to catch up on. I actually watched a really good movie last night. It just came out recently. It's called Carry On. Has, what is his name? I always forget this actor's name. He played Eggsy in The Kingsman. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about if you've seen those movies, which are very good in their own right, by the way. So, not only would I recommend the Kingsman movies, but I would also definitely recommend Carry On. It reminded me a lot of my favorite movies. One in particular, a Colin Farrell movie called Phone Booth. I actually rewatch that movie every year. It's very, very good. But Carry On is kind of the same vibe. Somebody gets a phone call and they get directions and they're told what to do in an airport terminal, and if they don't, there's consequences. That's the best I can describe that without spoiling too much. It's very good. So, would recommend if you all have a Netflix subscription, go check that out with your significant other. It's a fun holiday movie. It is technically a Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie in the way that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, where it's not really about Christmas, but it takes place at Christmas time, and so it's a Christmas movie, spiritually. And since they're all surrounded, we'll pop this. And I suppose I would also be remiss, speaking of Colin Farrell, I think it would be a sin not to mention how good The Penguin is on HBO. That might be Colin Farrell's best work. I just recently watched that with my girl too, and very good. Thoroughly enjoyed that show. And if some of you are saying you're not really into comic book stuff, I would say that that's okay, because it's not really comic booky. I recommended it to one person and they said they weren't really into the whole Marvel DC kind of thing, but it's really not about that. Where is he? Where's the guy? I think Penguin is 8 episodes, and it's all very good. It's just a solid crime drama. If you like anything to do with the mob or criminal organizations, Penguin will be very enjoyable for you. And it actually has the balls to be good too. It's not worried about upsetting people or making any wrong turns. It's just a good, solid story. Would definitely recommend that. That's kind of hard to find, ironically, in recent times. Not just in TV shows either, but in games too. I find that a lot of times there's so much playing it safe now. They're trying to appeal to the largest common denominator in some attempt to make everybody happy, which is never possible. So I'm not sure why all these companies that are worth so much money always try and do that, because isn't it kind of a tale as old as time that if you try and make everybody happy, you actually make nobody happy? Like, isn't that pretty widely accepted to be true? Not in media, I suppose. For some reason. I'm getting juggled. Okay, I see you. I see this asshole, which is dying first, absolutely. Oh, so you wanna play, boy? Take this. You can stop bouncing around too. Oh shit. Get staggered. Use this to build my 150. Hit him with this. That'll be the end of him. Now, if there's a giant boss, it's gonna be very upsetting because I just used my Zan charge. Yeah, that's the of course. Shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, I do wish story writers in our modern era of storytelling would stop trying to please everybody, because it will literally never work. Let's do this. It's a big AoE. It'll deal with the rabble, and it'll also get his stagger meter down. See for me. Gonna hold that. I know you can hold that for me. Pull out his blade. That's that meter up. Very spicy. I'll give him this. Well, that's unfortunate. Whoops. I locked on to the wrong target. Maybe I'll have to use G for things like that. It's okay. At least I did good on damage. There we go. Okay, so definitely locking on with G when I use that ability. Because I certainly don't want to accidentally use that on my lightning rod right there and do no damage to the boss. You good, Joshua?
We can rest here if you like.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
You know, games like Dragon Age Origins, the Witcher series, Mass Effect, for example, all those things could have quite easily offended people, but they ended up being very near and dear to a lot of people because they took risks, and that ends up them being relatable. Like, nobody can relate to a squeaky clean, crystal clear, good guy, bad guy, Marvel fan fiction. Nobody relates to that because it's not real. To make things real, you have to take risks, and you have to be offensive in some ways. Otherwise, it's not real. There are hard times, there are hard things, big decisions to make. Those are the games that always sit with me, at least. I'm not sure if anybody watching feels the same, but that's how it's always been for me. So is that the mother crystal just sitting there in the open when I walked through that door?
Look, Clive.
Quite literally.
By the founder. The place is a fortress.
Well, I will say it looked a little, yeah, it looks a little closer in this format. I think the Marvel movies, as good as they are, and I'm glad they exist, well, at least the first phase. Like the Iron Man movies all the way to Endgame is a very good story arc that I would recommend to anybody, but unfortunately, the success of that has left everything very stale and safe and samey. It's all kind of just copy-paste now, and I mean, Marvel humor has become an attack on things for a reason, right? There's rough situations, everybody's dying, the world is literally ended, and somebody will be there, like, cracking jokes about a dog or whatever. Like, I understand levity, and I've even talked about that in some of my series, how levity is a good thing for morale, but not at the cost of the story and the setting, right? There's the biggest one that always comes out in my head is a trailer forever ago for Destiny 2. And the context of the story in Destiny 2, by the way, is that everybody's dead. The last city has been invaded. All the humans are dying. The Guardians all lost their power. Like, it's over. The world has ended. There's nothing to be done. And then you have one of the Guardians who's literally just failed and gotten the entire last city slaughtered with nothing they could do about it. And he's popping jokes about getting loot and how he can't even remember the villain's name who just invaded the city and killed thousands of people. That is humor at the expense of the story and the setting. That makes the story less. That's never a good thing, and it's because of Marvel, I think, that things like that happen now. This game is a shining example of how to do it correctly. This game lets itself be dark, but there's also like fun moments in it. but it never takes you out of the setting. Like, look at the sky, the world is ending. Do we really want people quipping and popping jokes right now? Like, Joshua's coughing up blood, but he's making jokes about, I don't know, something in high school. You see what I mean? It wouldn't make sense. But there has been levity. But it just takes a little bit of writing talent, and you can go a long way. Most a lot of the time. They don't want to take the time to make that make sense. They think that because Marvel is so popular that nobody can take a serious setting or discussion anymore. Which is in part because everybody gets so upset and offended now that they have a really hard time doing anything, right? They don't want to hurt people's feelings because nobody... Well, I'm not going to say nobody because that's not true. I think most people actually can take heavy, dark settings, but it seems to not be as popular anymore. Or at least that's the mirage that gets cast forward because of things like Marvel and Disney and all that stuff. But anyways, the point of that whole tangent that I just went on is to say you have to take risks to be good. A good story is never just happy-go-lucky. There's always ups and downs and twists and turns. Like, look at the classic hero's journey. What most grand narratives are based on, like The Lord of the Rings for a great example, which is an iconic, eternal IP that will never die, and it's one of the best stories ever told, and it's literally just a classic hero's journey. With some comparisons from J.R. Tolkien's time in World War II, which were very dark, by the way. And look what that made. And then lo and behold, Amazon and other people try to replicate it, but with less darkness, and it doesn't work. It's Shitata. So I highly doubt that any writers would be watching this, but on the off chance you are, please take risks. Know that people like you to take risks. We want things that are dark and light. We want nuanced conversation. We want bad guys we can relate to. We want good guys we can relate to. Everything doesn't have to be so black and white. Like take Barnabas Storm for an example, right? He wasn't just... I mean, he was definitely the bad guy, but it wasn't as cut and dry as all that. He had the thing with his mom going on. He was blinded by religion. He's understandable. Same with his people. The people who serve him. The Waludas, right? They don't all mindless villains. I understand why they do what they do. Because I don't agree doesn't mean they're irredeemably shit. Nah, I'm okay with this jumping all around because we gotta get these two people out of here too, so... Get my Zan meter up. I'm gonna take a hit from that, I think. Have him hold that for us. See, big guy. Yeah, we'll give him a good old Giga Flare to get him out of there. Wonderful. I didn't even realize we aggroed him from that distance. Now, on more game-related topics, I'm actually very in love with this game. Kind of on the same tone, I suppose, but I really appreciate dark settings, and this is fantastic. The world actually feels at stake. We have the bearers cause that we're trying to deal with. We have the crystals, the ether, and the blight situation that we're trying to deal with. There's a lot at stake here. It feels like there is. Like when I took out Barnabas Storm, for example, that felt good. The decisions they took between all those cutscenes also felt good. Now that fight was disappointing, but also glorious at the same sense, right? it's a little sad that I didn't get to fight Odin,
What do you suppose that is?
but at the same time,
It's not on Vivian's map.
I don't know if any of that would have worked.
Right.
Like if we had an Odin fight similar to Titan's fight, I'm not sure that that would work. Because the whole thing between Barnabas Storm and Clive was a battle of wills, right? His blade could sever anything, and he wanted to sever our will and our connection to things that maintain our will. So it was us versus him, ultimately. It was Clive versus Barnabas, not Ifrit versus Odin. And that actually pays off really well narratively. And in the end, we almost made him see his flaws. But then at the very end, he doubled down on it and just gave us Odin's power. But we almost got through to him when we said that he surrendered his will to Ultima. And that's why he lost the fight.
Villages,
He believed us for a second.
no knights.
But then his faith
even any
became
bodies.
resolute, and he just accepted it.
One could almost believe the whole kingdom had turned to Kashyyyk.
He also seemed quite sad, though. I mean, the whole thing with his mother and finally going home. I think Barnabas was a broken man in multiple ways, right? He said he hadn't enjoyed a fight in years because he's just been piecing everybody up, so he'd had no satisfaction. I suppose when you take all your glory and worth from fighting and you kill everything in one sword swing. But he say for years people tried to wrest the crown from his head and nobody could claim it. He'd just been giving everybody the smoke for 40 years. But yeah, I liked how that was a battle of wills. It was a battle of sword, but it was also a battle of ideas and morality. And ultimately ours won that clash, and his lost. And I don't think they would have been able to portray that the same way if they hadn't have had them fight the way they did. So hats off for that, for having the stones to not do a giant icon fight like that. Although one idea I did have about this game that I think might have actually been quite cool is imagine if you were able to not only always play as Ifrit, but what if you were able to do things as the other icons too? Like imagine you could select who you wanted to be. Maybe it's like a different form of Ifrit, but what if you could actually summon Odin? Instead of just using his abilities, what if you could actually pull him out? The same with Garuda, what if you could turn into a harpy and depending on your encounter, depends on which icon you use. I think that would be fun. Actually, I don't know how that would affect the narrative, because I'm not 100% sure how that all works. I know that a dominant takes hundreds of years to be reborn after it's dead. But we are also kind of a dominant, right? Like, we can use all the abilities. We're technically 8 icons in one, which is why we're Ultima's vessel, so... Are you a hunt, or are you just a large individual? You're just a large individual. Yeah, take this for me. Thank you. Got this. Got this. I didn't tell you to fall. Yeah, so we should absolutely be locking on when we use that. I actually stopped with the lock-on thing because one of my friends told me that the lock-on is actually kind of negative in this game. I honestly thought I was behind the swing. Yeah, someone had told me that it was just not worth your time to lock on. I kind of just took that and then quit locking on. But I definitely need to for Zan, so it doesn't end up doing what I did with my lightning rod. I suppose since at least I feel like I'm approaching the end of the main narrative, it's probably a good time to open up the availability for spoilers. So why don't anybody watching this, why don't you guys tell me what your builds ended up being? Because I think I've kind of hit my final form here on what I want to be doing and using. I don't think I'll be doing much different to this point. I think we have all the skill trees we're gonna get, so. Shiva, Garuda, and Odin are probably where it's staying, and certainly be constantly using Zan. I'm impressed the game finally got me to drop Phoenix Shift, actually, because I've been pretty dead set on never getting rid of that the whole game, and then I got Shiva and Odin, and it just dropped it instantly, so. And bravo to them for finally getting me to get that gone, but let me know what you guys use. What kind of ability combos do you use in this game? We have what? At this point, we have Will o' the Wisps, Diamond Dust, Lightning Rod, Impulse, Dancing Steel, and Giga Flare. Which, I mean, I could probably drop some of those abilities for something bigger. Like another big damage AoE or something like that. But it has never really felt necessary for me to have more than 2 boss damage abilities. Maybe I'd fry him even faster. Diamond Dust is a pretty good stagger. I don't know if it would behoove me to have another big damage versus the stagger. But the Impulse and everything else, like Diamond Dust would obviously always stay. But Impulse has been doing such a good job for me. It would feel wasteful to take it off. Especially since I'm using the amulet. That could open me up to do other things, but this tomb that we're looking for, it is. Take care of his final wish.
He'll be able to see all the way to Stonehyrr.
In time for us to destroy it in front of his eyes, huh?
As fine a resting place as any man could hope for.
True.
Reunited with those he loves at last.
Not much else you can ask for in death. I'm not sure what I would like to do with any of those things. Let's read this, actually. Here lie buried ye bodies of nut and beloved wife Breda, who departed this life in ye 24th year of reverie. They've been dead for a while. If reverie started when Barnabas took the throne, then they've been gone for a while, because he had the throne for like 40 plus years, so they've been dead 16 to 20. Let's just get these out of here. I know it's a little lazy, but the Bomb King things are frustrating. May as well build my Zan while I'm here, though. Came all the way up yonder for a chest. I guess in main story-wise, the only thing I have left to actually deal with is Ultima. Now, I know we have the expansions, and I am going to start those as soon as I get to a position to play them. I'm going to be doing that. I think that's probably the only thing left in the main story will be the big confrontation with Ultima, and of course this Mother Crystal.
Does it bother you that we haven't heard a single human sound?
Everything about this place bothers me.
Agreed. What bothers me more than anything is the Waludas had the strongest dominant as their king, and he sold them down the down the pipe. He just left them all to rot. Gave them all to Ultima to become a Kashik and die. He considered that a mercy. What he decided to do for his people was to put them all in a coffin.
No need to ride from here.
Adbach Conservatory. Is this a thing where I come back later, or can we do whatever we're supposed to do here right now? Suspect we might be coming back here later. I guess you never know. Looks like the kind of location you'd be visiting for a story reason. Have a chapel. Let's see what's up back. I have a tendency to wander off in all the games I play, so. Use the inside voice. That's both of them. Got you, Joshua. I thought so too. It's actually kind of fun to look back at when I first played this game. How basic my whole gameplay style was. It's basically chopping that wood. I barely even used the magic blast. At this point, I'm juggling aerial combos. Snap freezing with perfect dodges. It's very fun to see the progression of your own skill alongside your character like that. It's another reason I love the Dark Souls series, which is absolutely going to be on the channel at some point. There's no way it won't be. So if you enjoy Dark Souls, you have that to look forward to. I'm a big fan of Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring. Bloodborne, unfortunately, will never come to PC, despite how many times we ask for it and how many years in a row we think it's going to be announced at the Game Awards. That's just never happening. And I'm not sure why. Maybe the engine just refuses to play nicely with things. You are a Kashik, so we are going to be careful with you.
Nice try.
We definitely want to not play games with a Kashik. I've learned my lesson numerous times from trying to learn movesets on them and just getting chopped to bits. Oh, hello, Reedstone. What are you? Well, shit. Another trial, I'd imagine. Trial by darkness. Within this ancient mania awaits a harrowing trial in which Clive must race to overcome a host of deadly foes, wielding the blessing of but a single icon, Odin. Okay, we're obviously gonna do Odin's trial. Because I want gear that helps me get stronger with Odin. Okay, what do we have? We have Gungnir and Heaven's Cloud. I assume we don't have Zantetsuken, but maybe we do. Nice. Dude, the level 5 Zan is so strong. That's nuts. The level 5 Zan is absolutely a cure-all. It's crazy. Okay, so we have about half health left for the boss. Let's see. It's gonna need to be pretty perfect. What are you giving me for this? Dancing Steel and Gungnir. Okay. Beautiful timing on that already. The attack I wanted to bait out to get this. He's dead. It's done. Whatever Zan meter I get from this is gonna kill his ass. Bye-bye. Beautiful. That's the trial proctor. The Will of Darkness. Residual dark ether that, having failed to dissipate on the battlefield, has instead manifested into a solid form not unlike crystal, but with an elemental purity that renders it far more potent, if not highly specialized in its applications. Increase dancing steel will damage by 20%. Interesting. The 20% will damage buff is actually insane. Yeah, we're done with this. We did Odin's trial, which felt very good. I gotta wander around and look for all the other ones. And we'll do that deal with that in a later episode. Yeah, we've been going for 47 minutes, but I'll probably edit out most of that trial and just leave in the boss fight, so I don't see a reason to put that whole thing in there. Now let's take a look at this real fast. So we have on impulse will damage, lightning rod flat damage buff. We have this max HP by 400. Let us try something. Put that on. And then I want to see if we still do really high damage without buffing lightning rod's damage by 9%. And if we do, then I could potentially drop lightning rod eventually. We have to walk all the way back around. Would it be faster to just go back? No, it wouldn't, because we still need to check out Garnic. Okay. I'll just wander myself back around the village. Oh, also a PSA for anybody watching. I did put a poll live on the channel for what build I'm going to play in Baldur's Gate 3, so if you have any input on that, then go vote. It's between a Oathbreaker Paladin and a Circle Spores Druid. So if you have any preference on what you'd like to see in the Baldur's Gate playthrough, go vote. I'll do whatever wins, so. For the sham vote. I hit the wrong key, just for anybody wondering. That wasn't deliberate. I actually wanted to do this. That's nuts. The audacity of them to hit me with that. You're being rude. Stop it. What if I didn't suck at fighting witches? Well, my timing is just all getting dramatically wrong. Do it again. Whatever. Let's just get him out of the way. There we go. Put my Zan up him before he goes to the afterlife. Well, we burned a lot more potions in there than we burned on the entire rest of this area. That's sloppy for a second. I completely lost my rhythm on that guy, actually. It all went to hell. Didn't time any of his abilities at all. I'm very committed to this, though, so we're not even going to go back and get more potions. kind of overkill there, Joshua. Mine after my own heart. You see one final item right there with the obelisk. No, 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 no. We're not going there yet. Let me get my item.
The calm before the storm.
There's only one way into that city. Across the bridge. Through the main gate. Right into the midst of whatever is left of the late King's army. Are you ready for this?
Sure, they're all glowing blue like the rest of his people.
As ready as I'll ever be.
And we'll never know what that item was. Alrighty guys, well since that threw me into this, that is going to be a wrap for this episode, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you next episode with Drake's Spine. Take care everybody, have a great day.